G'day guys, how's it going? I'm Aaron Whitnell. This is ACW Sport, and here are my FA Cup quarter-final and Premier League Week 31 reviews. Now, only 4 fixtures were actually played in the Premier League this weekend. There's more to come over the coming weeks, so obviously I'll keep up to scratch with them. But it was a fairly standard weekend, really, in terms of the football that was played. There were no major surprises, especially in the FA Cup. And yeah, it's a very weird kind of week to talk about because normally there's like a big story from it. But in the FA Cup, there's not. Who went through are the teams that you kind of expected to go through. For a start, Chelsea beat Leicester in extra time, thanks to a goal late on from Pedro. Leicester probably deserved to go through on the balance of play. I thought they just edged it over Chelsea. But at the end of the day, Chelsea have got that little bit extra quality. And they know how to handle situations, whereas Leicester probably don't. Obviously, they had that amazing year not too long ago, but overall, Chelsea are the bigger club with the overall better players, so you would expect them to be able to handle pressurised incidents like the game against Leicester, where they were under the cosh in the second half. And they did that fairly well. Morata took his goal very well. Jamie Vardy absolutely smashing it in front of goal at the moment. I think that's 10 goals in his last 12 games now for him. Absolutely awesome run of form, and obviously great for England, especially heading into the international break now. Manchester United, they then beat Brighton 2-0 at Old Trafford. Romelu Lukaku and Nemanja Matic scoring. One of Matic's best games in the United shirt. Brighton gave it a good go, but again, in the end, United just had too much quality. Lukaku, like Vardy, absolutely smashing it in terms of goals at the moment. I think that's 11 and 13 for him. Very weird comments from Jose Mourinho after the game. It's really hard to gauge whether, because like they're controversial, but you can't really gauge whether or not he is doing the wrong thing or the right thing just yet. Because at the end of the day, you've got to see how the players react. So until we see how they react, you can't really judge what he's said too much right now, even though some of it may sound harsh. And he's kind of giving an opinion of, I don't really care what happens. But you've just got to see how they react. So yeah, that's my opinion on that, really. Standard win for United, back to winning ways. Jose with yet more controversy, but it's now down to his players to react before we judge what Jose has said, whether or not it was a good thing or a bad thing. So we'll see in the coming weeks. Spurs dismantled Swansea 3-0 in what was a pretty easy game for Spurs. They really seemed on the ball. You can see that they are desperate to win this trophy, and fair play to them. They were absolutely quality in this game. Eriksen completely ran the show. Lucas Moura was really impressive once again. Swansea kind of had that attitude about them of, we're not really fussed if we go through or not, because at the end of the day, main priority is staying in the Premier League, and fair enough, you would understand that. Wigan then lost to Southampton, even though, for me, especially in the first half, Wigan were much better than Southampton, but Southampton in the end did carve out the moments they needed in the second half, despite a fantastic penalty save as well, which would have seen them go 3-0 up. But yeah, I mean, great first result for Mark Hughes, because at the end of the day, it's a win, and Southampton were desperate for a win, and they're through to the semi-final. In terms of the semi-final draw, first of all, Southampton versus Chelsea. I do expect Chelsea to make it through to the FA Cup final, because I just see them being a stronger team than Southampton. As for Man United versus Spurs, at the moment, I would have to say Spurs are the favourites going into the semi-final. But the one thing I would say about United is that whenever they are the underdogs in a game, that's when you seem to get the result from United. Prime example, everyone expected Liverpool to beat them, and everyone also expected Chelsea to beat them. United beat both of those teams. However, when United are favourites, that's when they seem to be quite sloppy and don't really go about the business you'd expect them to go about. Sevilla is a prime example. So at the moment, I would have to say Spurs is who I think will go through, and I think at the moment it will be a Spurs versus Chelsea final. But at the same time, Man United could very much surprise me. As for the Premier League, the 4 fixtures that were played out, there's only one place to start. That's at Anfield. Liverpool destroyed Watford at Anfield. Mo Salah hitting 4, his first hat-trick for Liverpool as well. And they were absolutely breathtaking goals. He does look like Lionel Messi in the Premier League. Again, I've said it before, he is... I mean, if Messi was playing in the Premier League, he would be doing exactly what Salah's doing. But at the moment, Salah leads Europe for the Golden Boot. Obviously, Harry Kane's injured at the moment, thanks to those 4 goals. So, yeah, Mo Salah is now on 28 goals for the season. Then in the other fixtures, Stoke, they lost at home to Everton in a game that, like I said, I kind of predicted Everton would win this just because I just see Stoke fading, really. I just don't think they've got the class to stay up. Toussaint, though, what an impact he's having in the Everton team. Another 2 goals for him, really going to boost his confidence. And it's going to be interesting. If he keeps this momentum going up until the end of the season, Everton could have signed a real superstar here. So, yeah, really someone to keep your eye on there. I think the only surprise for the weekend for me was that Crystal Palace beat Huddersfield in the manner in which they did. I thought this game would be a draw because Huddersfield have been very, very good at home. From what I saw in the highlights, they weren't overly impressive, and Southampton had the better of the game and deserved the win. And look, fair play to Palace at the end of the day. It's a massive 3 points for them. Like I said, I don't really think it matters too much that Huddersfield lost this game necessarily. I think Palace needed the win more than Huddersfield, and I do expect Huddersfield to stay up because I don't think that Stoke and Southampton have got fixtures that are kind enough to allow them to build the momentum they need to stay in the Premier League. I think it's just a little bit too late for them. I think Huddersfield will just about hang on. So that's how I see that going. And then finally, Bournemouth, they beat West Brom 2-1 to all but ensure that they're in the Premier League next year. And again, it's just another fantastic year for Eddie Howe. For me, featuring the manager, or I hope will be featuring a manager. And look, this may frustrate some Bournemouth fans to hear this, but I do hope that at some point he gets the chance to manage a big, big team because for me, he deserves it. He's done an unbelievable job at Bournemouth, but I do think he deserves that platform now to step up to a club that are bigger in Europe, for example. So yeah, I hope he gets that chance one day. As for West Brom, yeah, you've just got to basically, the season's over for you guys. You've just got to try and plan for next year now. So, yeah, a bit of a weird weekend. Not really too much to talk about. Everything went the way that you would expect it to go. But that's pretty much everything I have to say on the FA Cup and the Premier League this weekend. Do you agree with the points that I've made? Is there anything that I've missed out or anything that I may have annoyed you about in terms of what I've said? Please comment below. Let me know. Always interested to find out your thoughts. As always, I'm Aaron Whitnell. This is ACW Sport. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys again soon.